back at you, Winnie the Pooh.
You keep a civil tongue, young man.
That's rich coming from you. What was that you called my father in your last little argument? Oh, I remember. You called him a disgusting, man-doing, really.
Silver, you're leaving all the way more Peter things she said about our pop.
If we brought up all those, we'd be all night. And the last thing I would want to do would be to spend a night uptight. I'm still not sure how Papa Head did it the first time.
I'm a citron. But the evidence Papa got it up at least once with Winnie is standing over there.
I will have you know we did no such thing at the time.
What's it like?
He loved me.
Bullshit.
We were in love.
I play a witch, but that'd be a pretty crummy thing to do to all the witches.
You know what, Winifred? None of us would have missed you if you hadn't shown up today. Next time, tell us you're coming so we can make plans not to be there.
Now, children, remember my direction on how to behave for a funeral. I know you can't pay respects to ladies, but you must understand that the children are very sensitive. But you must understand that the children of two loving gay men are rather sensitive to insults targeted at their father's sexuality. They have grown up watching how people who love differently in our society are treated, and it hasn't been very safe.
Now listen, all I was doing was being merely polite. They do not have the appropriate behavior or good manners. That's not my problem.
Winifred, I am so glad you came. How are you holding up, dearie?
I'm doing just fine. No thanks to your grandchildren.
Just ignore them.
How are you doing, Little Marjorie?
Terrible. Just terrible. After all, that's my baby. This is my son.
Mama, are you sure? No mother should bury their child? Mama, no mother should bury their
Oh,
child?
I'm sorry. I heard it. I'm so sorry. Yeah. What can I say? No mother should have to bury your child, even if he did leave you a scattered money. Oh, I'm feeling faint.
Thank you for coming, Winifred. My apologies for my shoulders terrible behavior. As I'm sure you can understand, you're overwrought with grief. Although I must admit, I had not expected to see you today when you could have just submitted your condolences online. More in your style, energetic and less personal. Or are you attending due to your new status in being Catholic Supreme?
Don't be ridiculous, Drew. Just because I despise your role in my breakup with Hedley is no reason for me to pay my respects to the brilliant man who was the love of my life.
As he was mine, Winifred. Over the years, we haven't had the best of relationships, have we? But I wish you no harm.
I do not require or care for your wishes, Drew. I have no desire to have any type of relationship with a creature that targeted a happily married man.
Winifred, I hope you don't mean that. You wouldn't want to keep Ethel from her stepsisters and brothers, would you?
Oh, you're darn right I do. Now that her father is no longer in the picture, Ethel will have no relationship with her defective rainbow children. Thankfully, they do not share in the same blood, and she is hardly the type of girl to hang out with artists.
As you wish, Winifred. But now that Hedley is gone and the final clause of the divorce settlement is about to pay off, I wonder just how sad you are with Hedley's death. You and Ethel inherit Hedley's share being Emperor Supreme. You aren't quite the majority shareholder, that would be Uncle Les. But you're close to it. If Hedley's death had not been an accident, you would have been the first suspect.
Don't be ridiculous, you paint-smudged fool. Hedley's death is well-known shellfish allergies, tragic, but hardly criminal. His insurance provided for you and your Crayola box of children quite well. You won't find pity for me for your situation. If you had left a decent family man alone, none of this would have ever happened. Why, oh why, did you have to turn your seductive moves on my Henley? He had always been so discreet before he met you.
Believe what you will, Winifred. I did not seduce your husband. You and Henley were separated for a year before he and I found happiness together. No one would have had to live a life as constraining as Henley did with you. He didn't want to hurt you and Ethel, but he got to the point where he wasn't going to ignore his own unhappiness any longer. You cannot know what it feels like when you must pretend to be something else, or you will lose your family's love. Henley and the children and I were happy. I wish that you and Ethel will feel the same someday.
A wish from happiness from the man who destroyed mine? Ha! What is happiness anyway? What I objected to most with the new improved Headley was his ethics. He had simply scammed money from investors for years. We made millions from unexplained collapse of Wee Scream Ice Creamery. Now that was some creative, but completely legal accounting. But then Headley left to go find himself and returns an ethical investor. I was happy for the need to be gentlemen, compatriots, but to turn Bean Counter Supreme on its head and stop all investment in the shadier side of the stock market? Why? He could have quietly arranged whatever recreational activities he had on the side with men, but no, you wouldn't let him. You had to push Headley to come out of the closet and to change his life. Bean Counter Supreme flourished under Headley's lead. He did not need to change his ethics, and he had $1 million luxury closet.
Winifred, you don't deserve my pity, but I am sad for the shallow life that you lead. Headley was taking bean counters into a new investment direction. No more sweatshops in third world countries. You can hold your head high knowing your money was invested back. He was eating when you reached a settlement with the surviving members of the Screamers family.
My Headley would do no such thing.
Neither one of us will change each other's minds. With Headley's death, the children and I no longer have any say in being Counter Supreme. And so, once again, thank you for coming.
Maybe if you wore shoes.
What?
Pathetic gathering.
No one could creatively manipulate numbers like father. But why? Why weren't you satisfied? Life was perfect before you began to try to find yourself. Yes, Mother and I were aware that you were unhappy. But what is so wrong with that? No one is truly happy, and you said that you had been living a lie your whole life. What's a little longer for the scheme of things? And it would have been much less of a scandal for the family and firm. But you were thinking about Mother and I before the bird. Were you, Father? We turned a blind eye to your twice-yearly business trips to San Francisco. As long as you brought me back